It was 1978, before the internet or cell phones, when porn was just magazines like Penthouse or Hustler. I was 20, tall at 6'4", with red hair and a decent-sized cut dick. I'd been with a few girls before meeting my future wife, Lisa. She was stunning with long, straight blonde hair, a firm butt, slim waist, and ample breasts. We met at a house party where someone's parents were out of town. There was cheap wine, PJ, and weed. Lisa and I hit it off quickly and were soon making out, with my hand under her blouse cupping her perfect tits. She was rubbing my jeans and, seeing my reaction, whispered that we should go upstairs. I was in heaven. We went up to a room, sat, and started undressing each other. She stroked me while I kissed her breasts. I pulled off her tight jeans and kissed around her neatly trimmed bush. Playfully, she pushed me onto my back, straddled my hips, and whispered, "Fuck me." I fumbled with the condom, and she smiled, rolled it down, and guided me into her. The sex was amazing, but rushed, as people kept knocking on the door wanting the room. We climaxed almost simultaneously and hugged before dressing and heading back downstairs. Lisa and I had a lot in common, and she was smart and fun. We dated often, which meant we fucked every chance we got. I had built a bed and curtains in my VW bus for camping, as I told my parents. We experimented, often with her suggesting new ways to get off. I didn't question her sexual knowledge. I just assumed it was a girl thing. We started dating seriously soon after. Her parents didn't like me at first, probably because of my long hair. I remember watching TV at her house while her dad dozed in a recliner. She would tease me under a blanket, and I'd finger her discreetly. She got off on being naughty that close to her father. Eventually, we were allowed to use the basement to watch their new TV VCR. Being invited over to watch a movie was code for wanting to fuck. We had a perfect setup. Young, horny, and with a hot girlfriend who liked to fuck. Then it happened, a pregnancy scare. After breaking the news to our parents, there was a lot of yelling and crying. They decided we should get married quickly. We both wanted to move away from our parents and be free. The pregnancy turned out to be a false alarm, but we were already married and determined to make it work. Life was good. We had a nice apartment, and her dad helped me land a decent job. Lisa still worked at his law office, but only went in when she felt like it. I was trying hard to apply myself to my job and marriage, unlike my parents, who were unhappy together. This meant spending less money going out, which Lisa didn't like. She occasionally went out with her friends for drinks, which became more frequent. She'd come home late, drunk, with half-assed excuses. She'd playfully explain, "I like to flirt, but I'll always come home to you." I was blindly in love and trusted her. One night, I heard Lisa and her friend Rachel come in, giggling and bumping into things. Rachel babbled about hot guys hitting on them, and Lisa mumbled about sneaking backstage. After Rachel left, Lisa came to bed, stripped off her jeans and top, and got in bed. "Did you have a good time?" I asked, reaching over to rub her butt and inching down her panties, hoping for some drunken sex. She stopped me, saying, "No, sorry, too drunk," and ran to the bathroom to throw up. The next day, I dropped by for lunch to see how she was doing. She was rushing out the door, looking great in tight jeans and a band t-shirt. She said, "Dad needs my help at his office. I'll be back by dinner. Love you," and kissed me before hurrying off. It wasn't unusual for her to help at her dad's office occasionally. Late that afternoon, Lisa came in, extra bubbly, and rushed to take a shower. I noticed a mirror and lines of coke on the table. "Where did you get this?" I asked, taking a line. "It was good. A friend," she said, offering me another line. She suggested staying in that night, and we had energetic sex all over the apartment. The next day was a Saturday. I planned to sleep in, but heard Lisa on the phone, giggling and making plans. She threw on a cute sundress and said, "Rachel needs a lift. She's stranded and needs a ride." She kissed me and left, without panties on, which I found odd. She wiped her finger on the coke mirror from last night and rubbed her gums. "Go ahead and finish this. I can get more," she said with a smile. I did a wake-up line of coke, thinking Rachel must be sharing with Lisa. A month later, while getting pizza, I came home to Lisa hanging up the phone. She said Rachel was coming by to pick her up to see a band downtown. I offered to join, but she insisted it was just for the girls. "I'll call if Rachel gets too drunk," she promised, laughing as she left. Around 2:45 a.m., I was worried and called Rachel's place. After several rings, the phone was knocked off the cradle. I heard music and moaning, and a guy picked up the phone saying Lisa wasn't there. I heard grunting and gagging noises before the phone went dead. Furious, I drove to the club and saw Lisa getting into an old van with some guy's hand on her ass. I was frozen in shock, feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. The van started rocking, and someone got in the driver's seat and sped off. I drove home in tears, remembering all the times I'd been a fool. There was a time I came home for lunch and found a young guy rushing out of our house, smelling of cologne. Lisa was in the shower and said the guy was just the new courier from her dad's office. I found papers on the nightstand and forgot about it. There were also times she called from Rachel's, saying she was too drunk to drive. I was mad at her and myself, not just for the sex, but the lies. I tried to sleep, knowing it was over. Around 3:45 a.m., the van pulled up, and a giggling Lisa staggered to the door. She came in, banging into things, and entered the bedroom. I asked, "Did you have a good time?" She mumbled something about the band and waiting for Rachel. I rubbed her butt, moving my hand to her pussy. She quickly stopped me, saying she was too drunk, but I felt how wet her panties were. Holding my anger, I slapped her ass and said, "You weren't too drunk to fuck van guy, were you?" She turned, saying, "What do you mean?" I confronted her, telling her I saw her get into that van. She started crying, my usual weak point, but not that night. She pleaded, "No, it's not like that." I asked if it was about some big dick motherfucker, and she admitted she enjoyed the attention from different men. I told her I was leaving and that she could have all the variety she wanted. As the morning sun came up, she pleaded with me to stay, promising no more lies. I finally gave in, making her promise to stay home with me and not drink so much. Things did get better for a while. We entertained friends and couples. I tried being faithful the first year, but eventually, we became more like roommates than a married couple. We'd go out, and whoever got home first got the master bedroom, while the other got the guest room. It became a sort of stag-vixen open relationship.